Good afternoon. Happy Thursday to my little humans out there. Welcome to episode 178 of the Michael Lab Show. We're here to bring the heat. I got my hair cut a little bit shorter than I would like. I wish it was a little bit longer. Every time I go, it's always just keep a little bit extra on the top, and then usually a little bit extra stays on the top. But this time there was circumstances that we couldn't leave extra hair on the top. Apparently, since I was getting a hard part for a while, due to that, I can't just go ahead and get a fade immediately. And also my hair couldn't be as long. So that's that. But happy Thursday, guys. Last week of March, moving into April. Rolling right along, man. January, February, March. 25% of the way done with the year already. Looks like we're coming to the end. I was able to set up so this time next week when you guys are watching, so next Tuesday, I should be vaccinated. I went ahead, signed up for the vaccine. I didn't jump line or anything. There was a link. Got a link. I filled it out as accurately as you're supposed to. Everything was perfect. My job, this, my age, all that. And I was able to get a vaccine for Sunday. So if you guys are, next podcast, episode 179, I will be vaccinated. My arm should be the size of a football. Or I might just get COVID and croak out. But we'll see. What are you going to do? Flip a coin. Who cares what happens? It's all about saving the world. I'm saving the world. Or I'm not. I don't know. But shout out to Lauren Summers. So this is our news that we have these days, man. Maybe not Lauren Summers. Who's the Summers chick who actress Summers? I think it was Somers. What's her name? Suzanne Somers. There it is. Suzanne Somers. Shout out to her. We have such a dichotomy of news. We have white ladies like Suzanne Somers who felt like telling the whole world that she has sex 3 times before noon. And it gets picked up by people. Obviously, it gets picked up by Yahoo. It gets picked up by OK Magazine, Pop Culture, Daily Mail, Holly Life, Fox News. Like, we are such a confused group of human beings, man. We have this 74-year-old lady, and she makes an announcement that she's having sex 3 times a day before noon with her 84-year-old husband, Alan Hamill. And it's like, it's just wild to see some things that hit the news cycle relative to some other things. Like the fact that has been going on for 3 days already. Like, I see a news story from 3 days ago, and then the newest news stories from 1 hour ago. The fact that it's still rotating in the news articles just goes to show how much of the stuff that's put out into the media is just absurd. Like, the news articles range from Suzanne Somers, a 74-year-old lady actress who I don't even know what she played in, dude. She's ancient. She played in Three's Company, Step by Step, The Ropers. Little sketchy. Should have been a little bit more careful with that. The Ropers, 1979, 1980 director with Audrey Lilly, Norman Fell. You guys got to be a little more careful with these names. You can't just be throwing around The Roper. American Graffiti, and 44 other TV shows. See her net worth. The girl's a big baller worth $100 million. But our news stories go everything from Suzanne Somers up to massage parlors getting shot up to grocery stores getting shot up. Somebody's out there just trying to get like ingredients for a sandwich. Next thing you know, they're getting a bullet through their face. Like, it's just a wild, wild world that we live in. And this shooting is insane, man. Like, all the just everything that comes out about it. It's kind of, and this is really dark humor, but it's true. And the reason why it's dark and it's humor is because it's semi-true. Like, there's something to be said about, here we go. Okay, cool. Let me just take a sip of this real quick. Put on my seatbelt because we're about to get a little dicey. Because I have thoughts. They're not complete. They won't be complete after I finish this, but they will be out there in the world. So, okay. So we have a lockdown, right? So we've had a lockdown for over a year now, right? Some states have been much more aggressive with it, California's, compared to other states that have been much more loosey-goosey with it. Florida, Texas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming's. And then you have states like me in Maryland where it's like it is aggressive, but it's also not aggressive. But there has to be some realization that with these lockdowns, there's a lot happening. There's the spread of coronavirus. We can put that in a box. We can say that that's bad. Like we can say that the coronavirus is bad. It can kill people. It can make people very sick. It can have long-term effects on people. People can lose a family, friends, and whatnot. So we can all agree on that. And if we can't agree on that, then this conversation can't go any farther. But if we can all just kind of come to an agreement that that is not what we want. We don't want it to spread. So there's options, and one of the options is lockdown. And let's just talk about the reality is that that's the option that we chose. That's the option that the world chose. Not the whole world, but that's the option we chose here in this country. And on an overarching view, the majority of the country partook in that type of bandage for a coronavirus. Stay locked down until we get a vaccine. Okay, cool. That's fine. And when we go into that, the reason why it was called so quickly was because we had no idea what was happening. We had no idea what coronavirus was. We didn't even have a vaccine started in trials yet. We were just barely at the tip of it. And a lot of things kind of went under the rug that we knew could have been an issue, but we did not fully, we weighed out the pros and cons, and the mental health side was weighed out as a con, but it didn't outweigh the pros of the lockdown. So you're entering a year now where people who have, and look, before I continue, this is just, I feel like this is a good time to talk about it. But before I continue, I'm not saying, I repeat, I am not saying that the Atlanta shooter and the Boulder shooter, the reason why they shot up places was just because of mental health. I'm not saying that at all. There was a lot of other, we don't even know why they did it. Obviously the guns, that's a huge thing that's being debated right now. Should we just remove assault rifles, or should we do this, whatever? I'm not going to get into that. I don't even want to enter that world. I don't even want to talk about, when the Boulder guy shot people, it was white supremacy. It turns out he wasn't even a white guy. He was a Middle Eastern man with Assyrian descent, and he apparently, this is just what the news is saying, he has ISIS sympathies. So I don't know what any of that means. But I do know one thing, and what I do know is when you take people who, first of all, being a human already is hard. And I don't know if I'm sharing anything that's not, let me just type this in, side effects of lockdown. It's going to be the title of the video. So when you take people we're social creatures, right? And you force us to stay in a place that is our homes, and you tell us that we can't go out, we can't have human interaction. One of the leading causes of severe mental health and severe social disabilities, or not developing proper social norms, one of the leading causes is lack of human touch. Children need to be touched by their mom, need to be touched by their dad, need to be touched by people, need to hug them. That's what I mean by touch. I mean caring for them. If they do something well, Hug them. If they're sad, hug them. Kids need that. There's no way around that. They need interaction with other kids, and we know that it sucked that we had to go into lockdown to stop the spread of the virus, and that was kind of something that we just accepted. But without human touch, without human interaction, severe things happen to people. Severe things. There was a study. I cannot believe I'm missing his name. The behavioralist, the father of the behavioralist movement, father of behaviorism, behavior psychology. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. John Watson. B.F. Skinner. B.F. Skinner, that's who it was. He did a study. I'm pretty sure he did a monkey study. I'm pretty sure it's him. Harry Harlow. Maybe it was Harry Harlow. Study. Yeah, okay, so Harry Harlow did that monkey study. And his monkey study, I've talked about it before on the podcast here, because I think it's a very important podcast, I think it's a very important thing to talk about. So he took a monkey, a real live monkey, I think it was like a Rhesus monkey or whatever, something like that, and he took 2 fake monkeys, okay? So he just made like a cage animal, or like a bird cage, and he just put them up side by side, right next to each other, with glass separating them. And the experiment was, what's the importance of human touch? Obviously, you can't use humans for this. That would be very unethical. You can also make an argument that monkeys are unethical too. But for this, he used a monkey. One of the fake monkeys was a monkey that had no fur. It had nothing that was tangible to touch. Nothing that if a baby touched you, it would just feel like metal. It wouldn't feel real, and the monkey would know that it's not a real monkey. But this monkey, the one that was fake one with no fur or anything, had food, had water, had all that good stuff that is also used for animals to survive. The other monkey didn't have food, didn't have water, but it had a soft, almost blanket-like material that felt like the real monkey's mother. And this study went on. I don't know how long it went on, but it showed that every single time the monkey would go against its hunger and thirst to go to the monkey that had the comfort. It had the fur. It had the feeling of, oh, this could be my mom. So that was a breakthrough study, and it kind of, at the time it came out, it was counterintuitive, because at the time it was, don't touch your kids, kind of punish them and teach them lessons, right? And then the study was like, hey man, don't do that. You need to touch your kids. And basically, the long story short, what I'm trying to get at here is that this lockdown has led to a uprise of people who were already slightly unstable, people who maybe were just holding on just a little bit, right? And there was something that could have just snapped them. And this lockdown was a snap. There's people who, like myself, who have never really dealt with anxieties or depressions or anything. There was a moment of time where I was struggling a little bit, not much. I coped very quickly. I remembered what I learned in therapy. I talked to people around me. But there's people who didn't do that, who still to this day, they don't have a job. Still to this day, that maybe a relationship that wasn't the most healthiest, but was on the road to becoming healthier, and could have become healthier, maybe with a little bit of space, maybe with a little bit of time apart, maybe with some counseling therapy, could have become something just beautiful. Because you don't know how beautiful something could be until you can get through the hard part, right? And to believe that there's no such thing as a rough patch in a relationship or in a career or school or whatever is ignorance at its finest, is arrogance at its finest, and it will ruin you, because the fact of the matter is, it is very difficult to be a human, very difficult to navigate this world, and that's just a simple truth. That's the reality of it. All right, that's better. Sorry. That's just the reality of it. I like to sit on my pillow. I feel a little bit taller. And then there's people who weren't on the edge. There was people who were at the edge, where even if they did get a promotion at a job, even if they did end up finding love, even if they did graduate school with the degree that they wanted, even if all these positive things did happen to them, they were already planning where to find the gun to shoot himself. They were already knowing who in the family member has one too many opioids. They're already knowing where the closest liquor store is to drink themselves to death. And, there was people like that. Where's the closest heroin dealer? And this is, I think, this is not talked about enough. Whenever these school shootings, or not school shootings, pray to God that doesn't start happening. But here's the reality: it easily could. And I don't like how people just aren't talking about this. Here is a big issue in this country. And once again, this is not dismissing, because this is going to be all over the news cycle. For the next 4 weeks, it's going to be all about gun control. It's going to be all about we need to stop doing this. And Colorado already has some of the most tough gun laws in the world. And this is the argument people make about drugs. You make drugs illegal, people still get them, and then crime comes from them. Whereas if you make them legal, they're given to you. The black market isn't needed to be used anymore. Therefore, there's regulation. Maybe you could have that with the gun industry. I don't know. I don't really want to get into the gun debate. I want to get into the mental health side. Every time you see one of these massive shootings, whether it be racially motivated, like the masseuse in Atlanta, whether it be ideology related, like you saw in Boulder, and I'm just saying that because that's what I see here. Listening to him kill everyone you know. It's hard to read. I'm just saying what I'm reading here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to pick a side, because I don't think there is a side. I think if you put the most extreme lockdowns of guns, people are still going to get guns and shoot people. I think if you put no restrictions on guns, people are still going to shoot people. And the reason why people are still going to shoot people, because at the end of the day, gun is not what kills. Maybe I did just pick a side by saying that, but that's okay. The amount of news that I can watch right now, I can go to CNN, I can go to Fox, I can go to whoever it is. I don't care. OAC, I really don't care. I will see everyone talking about gun control, the NRA. But what I won't see is talking about Big Pharma and the irresponsible deployment of opioids and these Adderalls and these antidepressants and these drugs that change the chemistry of your brain. And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to Alex Jones up here, brother. That's what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying, for somebody who did take Adderall, for somebody who I wasn't addicted, I stopped taking it easily. It wasn't an issue for me, but it changed me. It did change me. I was super Mike. When I took an Adderall, dude, I could do anything. Give me the most complicated math problem in the world. I will complete it. Tell me to write something like Romeo and Juliet. I will do it. I will do whatever I do. I would do whatever I had to do. I'm a robot. Like when you turn on your car, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's gonna turn on. And when it turns on, it's gonna go. That's how I felt. It was a power that you couldn't imagine. It really was. It's a power that was in my pocket. I could just put it in my pocket. If I was going to have a hard day at school, take 2, boom. I was only taking 5 milligrams twice a day, but I felt like I could just take over the world. And I'm a stable person. I like to think I'm a relatively mentally stable person. I feel like I control my emotions. I know what stems my emotions. I can communicate them better than most people. I think better than most men, unfortunately, which we can get into a completely different podcast. Maybe I might even end up colliding courses here intersecting mental health with men's mental health because I'm an advocate for that. I think all men need 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 to be more gentle to each other, to each. All men out there need to be more gentle to men. Yeah, and I think, anyways, I can get into that to a different time, and like I was saying about the about the medication, I know so many, and like I'm not saying that if you're depressed you shouldn't take antidepressants. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying if you're anxious you shouldn't take anti-anxiety medication. I'm not saying if you have ADHD you shouldn't be taking ADHD medication, Ritalin, Adderall. I'm not saying any of these things. But what I am saying is we can't blindly look away when events happen that could have possibly been caused from these medications. We can't blindly look away from someone's mental health portfolio when we hear of a Sandy Hook shooting, when we hear of the Boulder shooting, the Aurora shooting, the Atlanta shooting, even the Annapolis shooting, the guy, disgruntled employee. Not saying all these people, I'm not saying that they should just be written off. Oh my God, they're schizophrenic. Let them go. No, I'm not saying that. Throw their ass in jail. Put them on death. I've kind of changed my opinion on death row. Kind of, not really. It's complicated. But I cried. I cried reading a magazine of people spending time on death row and getting off of it and being found not guilty. I cried like a little baby at work reading this magazine. It's actually in my bag. I could read the stories, but I'm not going to. I don't want to cry. I'm a man. I'm a tough man. I'm not going to cry on camera. I'm not saying if you shoot a lot of people, I don't care if you're schizophrenic, I don't care what it is, you should go to jail. But what I am saying is that if we're going to talk about these school shootings, we have to talk about them fairly. We have to bring up all the sides. We have to be very objective. We have to talk about schizophrenia. We got to talk about behavioral issues. We got to talk about autism. We got to talk about people who have who are literally disassociated from reality, because that's a thing. We got to talk about people who are psychotic. We got to talk about prescription drugs. We got to talk about alcohol. We got to talk about everything. We can't just talk about the gun. We can't just every time a school a shooting happens, we always just talk about the gun. Something gets passed. When it gets passed, all the senators and the House of Representatives give each other a high five, a pat on the back, and woo, we did it. No more long extended mags. Yeah, because that's because stopping with the bumper mags is going to be your solution. It's going to help. Don't get me wrong. I think it should be a rule. I don't think there's a reason for assault rifles to be out there. I don't think so. But what I'm saying is we have to take a step back, and we got to start looking about how we deal with these things. Are we just, every time a shooting's going to happen, we're going to, Twitter's going to be trending white supremacy? Is that what we're going to do? Are we just going to write it off to that? Is white supremacy that important that it can be the cause of all that? Or can we sit back and all day, people always talking about mental health, and then something that is a side effect of mental health, possibly, it's so gruesome that we can't talk about it anymore? Is people walking around this world right now who would love to shoot everything up. And that's the reality of it. That's the reality. There's people that you probably cross every day who thought about shooting something that day, man. It doesn't take that much. We're so malleable. Just think about this. If you walked home to your house and you saw your wife, your kids, just their necks just slit open, bleeding from the neck, what would you do? What would you do? And you're a stable person. You're not intoxicated. You, by all means, your boss, your parents, everyone would say you're a normal person. But what would you do? What would you do? You would seek murder. You would seek revenge. You would want to kill somebody. Now, take somebody who is possibly schizophrenic, and possibly because of the schizophrenia wasn't given as much attention as a young child that maybe they needed. I don't know, but maybe they needed. You take that kid where literally voices in their head are telling them to shoot things and kill things, disconnected from reality. It's not happening. But in their world, it is happening, because in their brain is telling themselves to do harm to this world. They're gonna end up causing a lot of harm. And every time we just talk about the guns, we're displacing our time and we're displacing our money and our valuable resources to one avenue, when we should be, maybe it should be 80% weapons, but maybe it should be 20% medical attention and mental health. Maybe we need to start talking about this constant notifications on our phones and this constant news feed. Maybe that's doing something to people too. Maybe it is. Maybe we should talk about making therapy free for everybody and paying therapists extremely well. I'm talking every therapist starts at $100,000. Maybe we should do that. Maybe the government should fund therapy sessions for each other instead of, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure they can make a budget for it though. Make a budget so every American has a chance to go to therapy. Let's do that. We can create jobs that way. We can make people feel better. We can take apps like BetterHelp, and we can, now that they're backed by, homeboy Prince Harry over there, getting, what is it? He's a CIO, not Chief Information Officer, a Chief Inspirational Officer. I get frustrated whenever I get so frustrated. I don't like that word. Every time a mass shooting happens and I don't see anybody talking about the drug pandemic that we have, the prescription drug pandemic that we have, mental health pandemic, especially since we're coming out of a lockdown. There's gonna be so many more shootings. There just will be. There just will be. And I'm not trying to be all down on people on Thursday. It's beautiful weather outside. I don't want to do that. But I just want to speak the truth right now because nobody else will speak the truth. Nobody else will. I truly believe we need to pay much more attention to the way that we diagnose kids in this country, the way that we prescribe drugs to people, the way that we deal with our kids, the way parents parent their kids, the way the time in front of a TV screen. I know that's here to stay. I know that's reality. I'm not dumb. I'm not naive. I'm not super old to be I'm only 24. I'm very in touch with the world. I love my phone. But guess what? There's people who are just barely getting by every single day. You run in them every single day. You probably make fun of those people. You probably don't look at them. You probably roll your eyes when they talk to you. But guess what? Those are the people that can cause harm. And those are the people you got to listen to. And those are the people you got to talk to. And, I don't see that enough. I see so much hypocrisy in the world. It's the most absurd thing in the world. You can't even watch the news anymore. You can't even watch. You can't trust anything anymore. I mean, like from the top, Biden hasn't even had a press conference yet. And things happen where like Syria gets bombed and we don't talk about it. Like, I think that it's just, I don't want to see this Colorado shooting turn into just a platform to get guns completely gone, because they never will be gone. They will always be here. But I don't want 10 people's lives to just be replaced off of speaking points inside of the Senate and the House of Representatives chambers. Because guess what? 10 people's lives mean a lot more to me and to everybody else and to their families than speaking points for senators and House of Representatives that, by the way, nothing will happen. They've never changed anything. They never have. They won't. Because I guarantee you, let me just look this up real quick. Largest gun manufacturers. Lockheed Martin. Here we go. Lockheed Martin funding politicians. Political donations. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why. Oh my God. Organizations themselves cannot carry candidates. Okay, here we go. So let's just. I just want to talk about this real quick. This isn't a crazy amount. This is not a crazy amount of money, but total. Okay, so the reason why. This is so depressing. This is the truth, man. This is the truth. The reason why change does not happen that much is because of this, what I'm about to read to you right now, right here. Lockheed Martin, one of the biggest gun manufacturers in the whole world, and they do all the defense, everything, for our military, and God bless them. We need that to fend off China and Russia, those savages. But this is what I'm talking about here. We all get wild and we all talk about Republicans and Democrats. 2020, total money that went into Donald Trump, $464,000. Not that much, or maybe that's by millions. No, that's thousands. Lobbying in 2020, a total of $13 million. Contributions over $6.8 million. Donald Trump was given $464,000. Joe Biden was given $442,000. The Republican National CMTE over $400,000. Bernie Sanders was giving money. Like, this is the stuff I'm talking about, man. Like, they're not going to ban everything because these corporations pay these politicians to be president, to be senators, to be house. Like, they pay these people. Altria, the biggest cigarette company, Philip Morris. Like, these people have serious money going to these politicians, and these politicians aren't going to get rid of them because they need to make money too. And same thing with mental health. You're never going to talk about producer of, I don't know, Lexapro. Let's just say that. Who makes Lexapro? Let's just see it. There we go. Producer of Lexapro. Who owns it? Who owns Lexapro? Like the brand name, the generic is approved for treatment, and it was partnership with, Lundbeck. Is that a public company? Okay, let's look up Adderall. Owner. Bar Laboratories is granted to make a genetic. Okay, let's just look this up. Largest pharmaceutical company. Pharmaceutical company in the U.S. Johnson & Johnson. Boom. There we go. Here we go. Pfizer, Roche, Novartis, American company, GlaxoSmithKline. So Johnson & Johnson's the biggest one in the whole country. Contribution fund. Political contributions. Here we go. I don't think they'll show us the amount of money they make. They might, but... Okay, so they haven't released it 2020 yet. I think maybe that's it right there. Oh, here we go. So they've given 15,000. Jesus Christ, so many. Oh my God, every single state gets money from these guys. Oh my God, that's crazy, dude. Anyways, all I'm saying is I think as important it is for us to talk about gun control, I think it's also important for us to talk about mental health, especially now as we slowly get out of the lockdown. People are going to need it. I know people close to me are going to need it. I know people close to me won't be causing harm, but I do know that they could be causing harm to themselves and affecting their own future. But yeah, shout out to Susan Summers having sex 3 times a day. That's awesome. Background checks. Yeah, dude, I agree. Totally agree. Kamala Harris, you're right on that. We need background checks. Jesus Christ, this is what. Oh my God, I gotta look this up. Winston, what's the biggest? Who is it? This explains everything. This explains everything. Smith and Wesson. There we go. There it is. Smith and Wesson. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is from CNN Business. The fact that they're announcing it means that it's probably a real thing. The title is "Gun Industry Prepares for a Surge in Demand After Back-to-Back Mass shootings. They want to get rid of guns. And then meanwhile, the gun industry is kicking ass because people are shooting each other again. They need guns to protect themselves. What does that say? What does that say? Doesn't that ruin your whole argument? Lawmakers are once again calling for stricter gun regulations in America after the shootings. The gun industry is already preparing for a surge in sales. When you hear more calls for firearm restrictions, we have observed gun sales increase primarily from people buying before they're not able to. See, people want guns, man. Reliable figures from the federal background checks won't be released until next month, but if history is any guide, gun dealers and manufacturers can expect. Wow, that's crazy. I don't need to wait another minute. Let 1 hour go. Biden said about ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, as well as strengthening a background check system. I agree with all that. I do. I agree with you, Joe Biden. Why do we need high-capacity magazines and assault weapons? I don't know. I don't think we do. I don't know. Gun sales surged in January 2013 after the Sandy Hook shooting that left 27 dead. And then Barack Obama and the Democrats in Congress pushed for stricter federal gun laws that didn't make it through. Gun sellers said that they were inundated with orders for bump stocks after the devices were used in Las Vegas massacre. Exactly what he used, people wanted. Firearm sales rose 12.6% year over year in February 2018, following the majority Stoneman Douglas High School massacre in Parkland, Florida. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how back around the world is. It is, man. You're one thing, you're like, oh, yeah, we shouldn't have that. And then on the other hand, the industry's kicking ass because everybody wants one. I don't know. Let's get off of that, though. What else is going on in this world? Biden's dogs are back in the White House. That's freaking awesome, dude. That makes me so happy. Those dogs. If someone ever took my dogs from the White House, we would be fighting. We would be fighting, man. We would not be, I would not just let somebody take my dogs from my own house and just throw them away. What, are you crazy, man? Stupid. Joe Rogan's getting in trouble again for transphobia after the latest interview with Jim Bauer. Listen to it. It wasn't that. Whatever. The dude has had transgenders on his podcast. The dude is openly supports transgenders, and they just go after him. Because the reason why they go after him is because it's a complicated matter. And if you don't bow down to one side and you say anything that goes anything against science, like I'm saying, you get in a lot of trouble. And as you talk about, well, some people who transition, they regret their decision. If you say that, you're in trouble. But the truth is that some people do transition. Also, some people, there's different types of illnesses that make you feel like you want to transition, and I think that's a real thing. Autism is one of those. There's a whole array of it, and sometimes transitioning isn't the thing you should be doing. But if you do it, who cares? I mean, after the age of 18, do what you want, go crazy. Curfew causes Black Americans to wonder if they can still have fun in my... Wait, what? What about... Wait, why Black Americans are wondering if they can still have fun? What about Asian Americans and Mexican Americans? See, that's a weird way to put it. Okay. Oh, that's sad. Spring breaker who died after being drugged, raped in Miami was a good person. I'm sure she was. I'm sure the dude who did it was a piece of shit. That's lit up the whole room. Ugh, that's disgusting. She was genuinely a good person, according to a close friend who ripped the sick suspects accused of targeting her. Ugh, that's disgusting, man. Shit makes me sad, man. Look at these fucking disgusting human beings. Avery Collier and Dorian Taylor, 21 and 24, were arrested for alleging drugging and raping Christine. You guys are pieces of shit. I hate that. That's disgusting, man. So sick. Yeah, man. We looks like the world's starting to open back up. Hogan's doing his thing, and people seem to be rocking and rolling, man. Bunch of dudes keep on getting accused of sexual assault. Guys, you guys need to stop that. Stay faithful. Stop doing crazy shit. Elon Musk declares you can now buy a Tesla with a Bitcoin. That's huge. If you got a whole Bitcoin, you get yourself a whole Tesla. But I also wouldn't do that because I think Bitcoin's going to keep going up in price. Use fiat money for Teslas. But also don't listen to me. I'm not a financial wizard. So whatever I say, don't listen to. Utah bans pornography on cell phones. Wow. I wonder how that was going to work out. And Mormons, man, they know what they're doing over there. Lego launches Epic 2,354 piece NASA. That's cool. That's super cool, man. That's it, guys. I got nothing else to say. Love you guys. I'll catch you guys in episode 179 of the Michael Lab Show. Peace out. See ya. Have a beautiful, beautiful